The winds are blowing again. The earth is enriched again. The warriors of light have rekindled 2 of the 4 crystals. Fire and water remain. And today on Stranger of Paradise, we're going to the Wicked Arbor. The Wicked Arbor. Arbor. It's a fun word to say, Arbor. And yes, this level is a Final Fantasy IX reference. It's a reference to the Evil Forest, an early game area with beautiful music, and I'm hoping for a good remix here.
I think I know this place.
Careful, or you'll upset Jack.
There's a reason we can't remember our past.
Like what?
So we can focus on our mission. What else?
All right, I can get behind that theory.
Jack, my man. I respect that you're really focused on the mission of killing Chaos, but dude, there is clearly stuff to unearth here. There is so much we don't know about these guys, and it's slowly beginning to unravel. We're slowly seeing what these warriors' lives were like before the Stranger Project.
Watch yourself.
And we got some Chaos Goblins here. What's so chaotic about them? I thought goblins were, naturally chaotic. Why do they need to add chaos to the to their names? Are they chaos cultists, perhaps? I am Chaos Goblin. I worship chaos. Chaos. That's what I'm imagining, Mike. But anyway, today I'm using 2 new jobs. One of them is the Assassin. A very interesting job. It can use a variety of weapons, including guns, but I choose to use the dual knives because I feel like an assassin is at their best in melee. They are an agile, combo-heavy class with some interesting evasive maneuvers, as well as, mobility maneuvers that allows them to reposition around the battlefield. Did I just say mobility maneuvers? That sounds really redundant. But you know what? We're keeping that in. Mobility maneuvers. It's a maneuver. Alright. At this point in the game, you can clearly tell that I've definitely got a handle on these mobs. But I can't be sleeping on them, because they can still kill you if you let your guard down. If you get, the least bit sloppy, you can easily die to these mobs.
That's that.
Alright.
The bosses aren't the only big threats in this game. And I'm not just talking about, tonberries. These normal mobs, they can get you.
I haven't seen something this good in a while.
And I think that feeling will intensify as we get closer to the end here. And I love this remix that's playing. It is a remix of the Evil Forest theme from Final Fantasy IX, just as I hoped. And it's beautiful. I love how it gives off this feeling of a haunted, majestic, yet dangerous forest filled with monsters ready to devour us. That's the feeling I get from this song. It does it beautifully. And speaking of beautiful things, oh boy, I watched a new anime recently. I think you'll probably have heard of it because it's pretty popular right now. It's Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. It's obviously based off of a manga, like many anime are. And it tells the story of a D&D style adventuring party that saved the world before the first episode even begins. In fact, the first episode begins with the party being, thanked by the king and the people and being celebrated as heroes. Yeah, they saved the world. They literally killed the Demon King. Shoutouts to Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones. But here's the thing.
Let's go.
This'll be a
What do you
breeze.
do after the adventure is over? How do these heroes settle down? Can they settle down at all? Each of the 4 party members have a different answer to that. For example, the 2 human members, Himmel the hero and Heiter the priest, they just really settled down into civilian life for the most part, and they grow old, very old. You see them you basically see them, like, I don't know like their exact ages are, but like I think like they're you see them at basically around like 80 years old or something like that. And this is in contrast to the other two party members, Frieren, the elf, and Eisen, the dwarf. Now, even
Time to go to work.
someone with a very basic fantasy knowledge base will know that elves and dwarves live longer than humans, especially elves. Eisen definitely ages a bit, but he's not as old as the humans. Obviously, he doesn't look as old. He's still, walking around. He's not near the end of his life just yet. But Frieren, oh man, Frieren looks as young as she did
Jack, let's go.
back at the beginning of her journey. She hasn't changed one bit, and the characters remark about that. Elves live a very long time in pretty much all forms of fiction that they're in. And Frieren is just, like, the whole journey Frieren went on didn't feel like a long time to her. It was just, another moderate chapter of her life. Like, it was impactful on her, to be sure, and that's definitely one of the subjects of the show. Like, the journey had a real emotional impact on her. But it wasn't a big part of her life. It wasn't a long chapter of her life, because she's gonna be living for hundreds of years, man. And that's, she's got a lot of journeys ahead of
Victory
her.
was guaranteed.
And she kind of like fills in the time after her journey against the Demon King by collecting spells. Collecting spell scrolls is her hobby. She keeps doing it. She keeps wandering around collecting spell scrolls no matter how mundane they are. It could be like very, very silly magic that doesn't do much, but Frieren will collect it anyway. And you see in the show that this eventually doesn't satisfy Frieren by itself. Like, eventually, events in the story prompt Frieren to go on a brand new journey with a brand new party.
Let's try some.
And her, former teammates have reactions to that, of course. They do play a role in the new story, but like I said, Himmel and Heiter are old, and Eisen, he's getting up there in years himself, so Frieren basically becomes the leader of this new party of young adventurers. I'm not going to spoil exactly who these people are, but they're interesting characters too. And Frieren basically, she learns a lot more about the other races, for a lack of a better term. She learns more about like what life is like for humans, because they live for a much shorter time than elves. They look at life differently, and Frieren learns from that. Because Frieren doesn't as the show begins, Frieren doesn't understand humans all that well. She understands a few things, but she still has more to learn, and she wants, and to her credit, she wants to learn more. She's not like so stuck up that she just wants to live in her bubble forever. Events change Frieren, and her new party members change her.
This looks good.
And in turn, her new party members learn from Frieren.
All right.
It's such an immaculate story. It's not just about friends learning from each other and getting inspired from each other. It is about that, but it's also about what do we leave behind? What's going to be our legacy? The human party members, they think about that. Eisen thinks about that, and honestly, Frieren thinks about that too, even though she has a long life to live. It's such a thoughtful examination into just life.
Let's knock him down.
It's an anime that kind of just surprised me. It's way more.
Follow me.
It's way more philosophical than I was expecting. And that's a good thing.
Let's get ourselves together.
It's not just
Let's go.
slashing goblins and getting loot. It's there's a very thought-provoking narrative at work, and I'm still on season 1, and yeah, looking forward to watching more.
There you go.
Oh, and it features a lot of walking around in the woods, which is what I'm doing here.
Let's knock
Walking
him
and
down.
fighting. But speaking of, but to get back to this game for a moment,
This'll be a breeze.
it's pretty clear that the action is the highlight of this game. It has an interesting story as well, but I notice it's just been taking a backseat. You know, like, we get little bits and pieces of it, like, at the beginning of levels and at the end of levels with the cutscenes, as well as, like, some banter in the middle of the stage, but clearly story is secondary to the combat experience in this game. And thankfully, this game has a very good combat system. It just doesn't naturally lend itself well to commentary, because it's like, hey, yeah, like once I've explained the basic combat loop, it speaks for itself. And let me tell you again, it is very fun to play. Like, it's so satisfying.
Whoa,
You kind of get into like a trance while playing it. And I think like talking about other things like TV shows while playing this game feels really good. And I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. I know that this Let's Play hasn't been to everyone's
what's
liking.
inside.
I have a feeling that most of my viewers would probably prefer me doing something like playing another strategy RPG. Like, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you guys want to see me play like something like Tactics Ogre Reborn or Unicorn Overlord, or I don't know, maybe even the new Brigandine game. But I could be wrong. But it's just interesting to me how little this Let's Play is getting viewed. I've already mentioned this before, and I'm not gonna like dwell on it again, but it's still fascinating to me. I guess Final Fantasy doesn't have the pull like it used to. But enough about that. Let's talk a little bit more about future projects I'd like to do for this channel. I've definitely been thinking about it,
That thing's huge.
and I know I've mentioned multiple times before that I'd like to get back to streaming after the credits run, and that's still true. That's still true. I just don't know exactly what I would stream. But I've got some ideas. For example, I would like to do some
Focus on how we
type
can do
of
better
challenge
next
run
time.
for a Fire Emblem
Hey,
game.
look at that. Bet you can't break that.
It's honestly kind of weird how I've never played Fire Emblem on this channel. And yet, everybody knows I'm a big Fire Emblem fan. Everybody who knows me. It's
See
like,
what's inside.
yeah, yep, there was the Sacred Stones playthrough I did with Shadow Mario 41 and Power to Mario. You remember on Crystal Star Studio, we played Sacred Stones? That was a fun time. But yeah, it's so strange how there isn't a Fire Emblem project on my channel, and I'm just a massive fan of the series. And I guess going off of that, which Fire Emblem game would I play? It's always a difficult question, because for Fire Emblem, kind of like Final Fantasy, they're all so different from each other, despite having several commonalities. Final Fantasy constantly likes to like innovate, sometimes just for the sake of innovating, and Fire Emblem kind of does that too. Do the new editions always work? No, but I respect them for swinging for the fences. I always respect ambition in game design. And yeah, there's just like so many differences between the Fire Emblems. Like, Genealogy of the Holy War doesn't play anything like Fates, for example. And there are similarities between them, like I've said before, but there are a lot of differences too. Not just in gameplay, but also just like thematics
Oops, over there.
and
Let's relax for
presentation.
a bit.
Cubes, over there! Yeah, let's relax for a bit. Let's relax. I don't have to talk all the time in this video. I deserve a break too! Oh, look at this. Look at this gambler menu. Have I talked about the gambler yet? No, I haven't. Let's talk about the gambler for a bit. Yeah, the gambler is a job that's, first off, interesting for its ability to equip any weapon in the game. So, it's a very good support job for any concept you're thinking of, because, like, you could run, White Mage, or you could run Assassin like I'm doing, and just have Gambler as the job in the second slot.
I can barely see a thing in this
any
fog.
weapon you feel like.
We had better
It's really
proceed
good
with
for rounding
caution.
yourself out. The second thing about the Gambler is obviously its ability to gamble. Its base ability is called Roulette, and when you start the roulette, you see like a wheel, and it keeps spinning. You could still act, you could still move and fight while the wheel is spinning. But once the wheel stops, you get a random ability activation. And it can be an ability from just about like
Enemy spot.
anywhere in the game. Any class, any skill you've seen, it can come up on the roulette wheel. So it's a very interesting way to sneak in abilities from other jobs despite your 2-job limit. It can also lead to just like hilarious weird combos there. It can lead to some hilarious troll combos, and it can lead to some highly efficient combos as well. It's gambling. You never know what you're gonna get.
Come on, we can do this.
But because it's gambling, there's also the possibility that you roll the 2-bad result, and when you roll the 2-bad result, you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Sorry, I had to get that reference in. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's a great reference. Rest in peace, Gene Wilder. Anyway, yeah, the gambling is fun, and the roulette is not the only gambling ability it has. I don't want to spoil it, but the next gambling ability that the job gets is very fun, and you will see me use it. just not on this level. Also, I'm sure you've already noticed that I'm using the gun with the Gambler. You know I always have to keep the gun as a backup weapon. It's just so freaking reliable. I don't like using it 100% of the time because it's kind of a repetitive and boring fighting style, but it's so freaking good. It is freakishly efficient at killing enemies, killing bosses. It's like, why even like fight them up close when a lot of them have such dangerous hitboxes? Like, why even get remotely close to them? Just snipe them from afar, zone them out. The gun is too freaking good. But I admit, sometimes it just feels like the right option because, oh man, like obviously part of this is a skill issue, but I don't always enjoy melee combat in this game. So that's why I'm glad the gun exists. It exists as a way of opting out of melee encounters I don't want. That is a big part of this game's appeal, really. Like, the ability to just, like, obviously, customize your playstyle. And because you can customize your playstyle, you can just, like, go all in on, like, one weapon fighting style. Or, you know, have 2 weapon fighting styles. And swap between them as the situation demands. Which is what I'm doing. Like, you could go, like, pure melee or pure ranged, but I don't want to do that. Like, sometimes I want to fight up close because it's exciting, but sometimes I want to fight at a range because the enemy might be too dangerous to take at melee range. For me. Remember, for me. I'm sure there are some, like, there are players of this game who are just, you know, die-hard melee enthusiasts who are way more skilled than me and could just, like, beat the whole game going melee. Power to you. I'm not one of you. I'm not that good. So that's why I use the gun. The gun is cheesy, but for me, it helps me. It helps me play the game. It helps me enjoy the game. Like, I would not feel like beating this game if melee was the only option. I'm so glad there is a ranged option. And right now, I'm look at all this equipment I've got. Holy shit! Look at these job affinity bonuses. They're getting intense at this point. And like, look underneath my assassin tab. Like I've got dragoon at 1. I got a dragoon bonus of 123%. I've got an assassin bonus of 55%. I got thief bonus 47%, gambler bonus 30%, and monk 25%. You can get the job affinity bonuses of other jobs even if you don't have those jobs set. I don't know if I said that before, but I'm just going to say it again just in case. This is really important to know. Very helpful. Like those little stat bonuses add up. They may not seem like much on their own, but they add up. And yeah, look at my assassin set and look at my gambler set. Yeah, I've got bonuses from different classes. And the same goes for my party members. It doesn't matter as much for them because they're AI controlled, but still matters. Still matters. You want your companions to be beefy because they're so good at taking aggro. I love them. All right, and this level design is just pretty to look at too. I feel like this game especially makes flora and fauna look good. I believe I said something similar to this during the Ruffren Wetland stage, and yeah, like this Wicked Arbor stage is just a joy to look at. Hey, Wind Elemental, I have the high ground. Shoot, shoot, shoot.
Treasure ahead.
Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about another TV show I've watched. Let's talk about another one. Let's go back to the MCU for a moment. No, I'm not going to talk about Daredevil again, even though that show is still going, and holy shit, the latest episode kicks ass. But right now, I'm going to talk about Wonder Man. Yeah, Wonder Man. That's a hero I know nothing about before watching this show. And that means I had no expectations going in. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that it wasn't so much a superhero show as it was like a very like touching buddy comedy about two actors trying to make it in Hollywood. Obviously, there are superheroes and there are superpowers. Of course, it's Marvel, baby. Can't be ignoring that. But really, it's more like the film Get Shorty than it is like the Avengers. It's a story about it's literally a story about Hollywood. I guess like another way to like look at it is it's also got a little bit of that Quentin Tarantino film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Obviously the vibe is different from that movie, but it's at its core, it's a movie about the Hollywood experience. And it just so happens to, involve a little bit of superpowers and a bit of superpowered consequences. And it does have a returning character from previous films that really does a great job here. I'm not going to spoil who it is. And the main character, Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, is honestly I really liked him a lot. I found him very relatable, and I found his journey from zero to hero to be, just really, really well done. Like it's such a Wonder Man is such a well-rounded story. It honestly feels. It honestly felt like I was watching the early era of the MCU, like with the well-done origin stories of Iron Man and Captain America: The First Avenger. I felt like Wonder Man had that
being offered a reward. Of course
really solid origin storytelling.
Poor Sarah.
If that makes sense.
Being offered up like a prize. If I were her, I'd be pissed.
Me too. But ridding the world of royalty's old-fashioned ways is no easy feat.
Well, maybe the Warriors of Light can do something about that.
Out with the old, huh?
I can't choose.
Me either. On one hand, you'd get the crown, but it ain't light.
But at least you'd be rich.
All right, that's enough childish daydreams out of you two.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah, sorry everyone. I was talking over the beginning of that conversation, but then I shut up and let them finish it. That was funny. That was very funny. But yeah, you know, it kind of reminds me what happened to Princess Sarah. We haven't talked to her in a long time. I have a feeling she's gonna pop up in the story again. But yeah, it's really been a while since we've seen the gang at at Cornelia. I almost said Corneria because I almost said the Star Fox planet. But hey, you know what? So Star Fox is kind of hot again for certain reasons, and yeah, my YouTube algorithm has been blowing up with Star Fox stuff lately. It's definitely having a resurgence of sorts due to a certain thing that happened. I'm not going to spoil it.
We've got our work cut
Although
out for us.
Nintendo already spoiled it themselves with a certain poster. Yeah, if you know, you know. But back to Wonder Man. Yeah, I felt like Wonder Man just really just like it had that old MCU fun and just like that very grounded focus. Like on just, it tells a very intimate story. There's no like global stakes to it. It's mostly a story about two actors who just happen to be involved in a slightly extraordinary plot. You know, there are stakes, but not massive stakes. And it also does some nice bit of world building. Like, it's interesting to look into how Hollywood and the entertainment business in general has adjusted around the existence of superheroes.
Ash, show me what you can do.
In fact, there's one really good episode in particular that goes into the origin of the Doorman. The Dorman Clause, or Dorman, yeah, I think it's called the Dorman Clause. And it's, not without spoiling anything, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Taking out Malboros. Easy money. Whoa, did I just get a Bahamut staff? Bahamut's a big deal. Usually, if an equipment has Bahamut in the name, it's got to be really good, right? And yeah, this level is pretty long, guys. It's yeah. Granted, I am trying to explore like as many nooks and crannies as I can, but yeah, it's pretty lengthy.
So, that's the volcano, huh?
Sure looks like it. I wonder if we'll run into another fiend.
Well, that confirms our next destination. We're going after the fire crystal. With a level like this, it could easily lead to a water crystal level or a fire crystal level. But I guess they decided, hey, you go to the forest and then you go to the volcano. Cool. I'm cool with that. I don't know why they keep using wind elementals. I feel like this enemy's a bit outdated for this part of the game. Take this out. I don't know why I'm just like using rifle butts. I could have just like easily switched to the knives and killed it faster. Chakra. Okay, it looks like we're going to go deep inside a tree maze. Ooh, yeah, forget this treasure. Nice, nice. Take this one. I apologize, guys. Just making sure I'm not neglecting anything. I am a hoarder. You guys know this. Now over there. Why can't you jump over that? That would be nice. Where is the jump button? Nope, not over there. Anyway, let's get back to talking about more interesting stuff. Like, another show I've been watching is Jujutsu Kaisen. That's another popular anime.
Sure
I know people have heard
all
of.
this ivy.
And yeah, it's I'm in season 1 of that. And yeah, here's the cave that I was talking about. It's not really inside a tree, but I guess you could argue it is. But anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen is very interesting because, like, with a name like Jujutsu, I at first thought, okay, is this a martial arts focused anime? But no, Jujutsu is actually referring to an art of sorcery.
Try not to get hit.
Characters with powers in this show are referred to as sorcerers, and they fight against curses. So yeah, like the conflict between sorcerers and curses is at the heart of it. And the main character, Yuji, he doesn't start off as a sorcerer. He's just an ordinary kid. Well, I'm sure he's going to have some backstory that's revealed later on that shows he was never ordinary to begin with. But for now, as far as I know, he was ordinary. Until one day, when he came into contact with a curse. A very powerful one. And long story short, things happen, fights break out, and Yuji ends up becoming a sorcerer too. Although he's a very unusual one, because of course the main character has to be unusual. Now, Naruto can't be a normal ninja. Luffy can't be a normal pirate. Yuji has a very interesting relationship with this curse. And obviously, in classic shonen fashion, he doesn't have like great control over his newfound power at first, and he's got to go through a training arc, and he's got to develop himself with the help of some very powerful peers and an even more powerful mentor.
Easiest pie.
Barely.
Like I feel like I don't need to talk too much about Satoru Gojo. I feel like his reputation speaks for himself. But yeah, he's a very interesting character. Very powerful, but also just he's kind of trollish and funny, which leads to just a lot of memes. And yeah, so far the show isn't too surprising. It's very, very classical shonen in a lot of ways, and it clearly pays homage to the shonen anime that came before it. Even in season 1, I'm seeing all sorts of nods, and it's good. It's good. Not every story is to reinvent the wheel. But with that being said, maybe Jujutsu Kaisen will surprise me later on with its twist. You never know. The interesting thing about shonen anime in general is that it can start off very traditional-ish, very vanilla, but then it kind of branches off into other genres. You get some spice from other genres on top of the shonen dish. I think that's a good way of putting it. And so I look forward to seeing what kind of spice Jujutsu Kaisen adds to its familiar formula. So far, it's interesting enough for me to watch on. So I will be continuing to watch that, and I will definitely be continuing to watch Free Rent as well. As for Wonder Man, well, for now, the show is done. I finished all of the first season. That is the only season out, but it has been confirmed for a second season. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And naturally, I am so looking forward to more Daredevil Born Again. The second season is still ongoing. It's at episode 6 right now.
Okay.
And yes, yeah, season 1 of
Oh,
Born Again
well.
had 9 episodes, so I
Time
think
to go
season
to
2 will
work.
have 9 episodes as well. I could be mistaken.
All right.
Now, with those shows out of the way, let's get on to another show. Yes, you know I love talking about TV here during a Let's Play. I mean, do you want me to talk about how pathetic these grenades are? Do you want me to talk about cactuars and
We can
flans?
breathe. We can fight again.
I know a flan killed me earlier in the level, so props to the flan, but for the most part I've been taking them out pretty well. Hey, I got Warcry. Onslaught! I don't need it for a cactuar, but I just decided to do it. For the content. So yeah, rather than talk about these familiar baddies I've already beat up, let's talk about yet another show I started watching. Called Yellow Jackets. It's this is a live action show. It used to be on Showtime. Now currently you can definitely see it on Netflix. That's how I started watching it, and very dark.
Looky here.
Very dark show. At first I was expecting some sort of like, kind of like a teen movie-esque series. That's it's a little bit lighthearted, but also a little dark and dramatic, and things happen because teenagers get into all sorts of trouble. But it's actually oh boy, it leads into the dark side very heavily. It's almost like a hybrid of teen drama,
Jack, let's
horror, history. It's very weird in a good way. In a good way. I don't want to spoil one thing about it, but it is about a girls' high school soccer team called the Yellow Jackets. And this is not spoilers. This is pretty much synopsis style stuff. Yeah. So they're taking a plane ride to a national tournament, and they crash in the Canadian wilderness, where they are forced to survive by any means necessary. And I don't think I have to go into detail about all the gruesome scenarios that can result from trying to survive in the wilderness. And I won't, because the show explores it in a very gripping way. And it also just creates a lot of mystery with the way it frames the story. It actually jumps back and forth between the present, where the survivors of the incident deal with life after the incident. Oh, look at this. Memory mementos. Memory mementos are the lost collections of fallen strangers. Discover them during missions to unlock new side missions. Yeah, okay. More side missions. And that is interesting. Sarah, I'm sorry. Will these... I'm kind of disappointed that so far the side missions haven't had much in the way of story content, but maybe these new ones will. I would love it if these side missions explored more about Princess Sarah and, other NPCs we've met. Maybe a side mission for Captain BK? Hell yeah, I would love that. I would love that shit.
Looky here.
But back to Yellow Jackets for a moment. Yeah, the show kind of splits its time between the present, where the survivors of the incident deal with life after the incident, and the past, where the incident actually occurred. You actually get to see them. You see what happened during the plane crash, and you see what they did to survive after the plane crash. And yeah, the show jumps back and forth between these these spots in the timeline, and it creates mystery, creates suspense. I'm honestly hooked, and I want to watch all of the seasons now. So yeah, shout outs to Yellow Jackets. It's very good, and it's very interesting for giving a lot of actors a huge boost in profile, like Ella Purnell, who you probably know from the Fallout TV show and Arcane. It also gave a big boost to Melanie Linsky, who is honestly a fantastic actress. I want to see more of her stuff. And also it has Christina Ricci, who is definitely well known even before this series. Come on, I know some of you have watched those Addams Family movies. Christina Ricci is great. Split Ray. Ooh. Okay. I like the spread on that. Dark and there's Dark Elemental. You don't get a lot of Dark Elemental attacks in this game. And yeah, did you see that Blackjack ability? Did you see that Blackjack ability on the tree? That's the other gambling ability I was talking about. That one is fun. I know I'm speaking a bit because like I've already recorded the next stage. And I do use the Blackjack ability during that stage. I'm not gonna spoil how it goes, but it's fun. It's fun. And we got some other stuff like Windy Prison. And, some generic luck bonuses, which do help, actually. Interestingly, I haven't said this yet. The more luck you have with the gambler job, the more likely you'll get a skill and not a... Okay, here's a better way of framing it. The higher your luck stat is, the less chance you have of rolling a 2 bad. So basically, luck reduces your chance of failing on the roulette wheel, which is great. You want to get something on the roulette wheel. Anything but a 2 bad.
Time for a change.
So yeah, to summarize, luck reduces the chance of failing on the roulette wheel. So it's good that the Gambler Tree has some luck bonuses on it. And there's plenty of equipment that gives luck as well.
It stinks.
Tell me about it. This is never gonna wash off.
Get ready.
This one must be the tyrant of the forest. It's disgusting. I want it out of my sight.
Only one left to go.
Now that that's out of the way.
Did you see what I did there, guys? I activated an ability called Invisible. it keeps me up. It basically makes the enemies deprioritize you as a target. Kind of similar to the Shade skill in Fire Emblem games.
Still alive? When will this be over?
Stop whining and focus, else you'll get licked.
And of course, I'm spamming aim.
Find a better match. To be honest, I think it's kind of cute.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, Jed. This great Malboro is not cute. What are you talking about, man? Oh, look at that tongue. Burst from within. That was a super easy boss fight. What a joke.
Jack, your crystal!
Your memories will be stored in this device. Be sure to bring it back.
Hurry, Jack!
You okay, Jack? You were checked out for a bit.
The smell got to my head. So that mist comes from the darkness.
That's right. Its power is frightening. It drives man and beast alike to madness.
yeah, that was, I gotta be honest, that was not one of my favorite levels. The music was great. Loved the music. Obviously, the stage itself was visually appealing, but yeah, the fights dragged on, and the boss was a complete joke. Like, really? Just a bigger Malboro? Really? It was such a nothing burger stage, ultimately. Yeah, a bit sad about that, but the game is still fun. But I'm waiting for it to just really wow me. It's kind of like treading. Excuse me. It's kind of just hovering around that 7 out of 10 quality. It's good, especially in the gameplay sense. But yeah, it's just not wowing me yet. Like, I felt like the novelty is it's definitely been wearing off gradually, and not even starting with that level. It was definitely starting to wear thin beforehand. But maybe it'll pick up later. Maybe I'm getting to maybe I'm about to encounter the best moments in the game. Maybe this level, Mount Gold, where the fire crystal rests, will be that wow level. See you next time.